There was a documentary about Mickey Mouse. I mean, really? Is it even a question? Of course, I'm checking this one out. And I'm ready to talk about it. So let's jump into it right now. What's up, folks, and welcome back to the channel today for another review. And today we're going to be reviewing the film Mickey, the Story of a Mouse, which made its world premiere at South by Southwest Film Festival 2022. This is the last film I checked out this one, and it sure did make a nice little bow tie on what I consider to be a very good South by Southwest Film Festival this year. Now, as I said, it's Mickey Mouse. Of course, I'm going to check it out. And the biggest reason is because in anything in terms of a documentary, it's always like, what would I learn new? Or what will be, at least elaborating more on something I'm already aware about. You know, whether it's a new subject matter or something I already know about. I mean, documentary is truly about bringing to life and depiction of new information or existing information to a new light. And in this case, it's Mickey Mouse. Everybody knows about Mickey Mouse, but do everybody know really about the history, the different iterations, the different artists, the folks that are behind the scenes and what Mickey Mouse is, what Mickey Mouse stands for? So a lot of questions were answered here, and I really got some things to talk about. Now, one, I just got back from Disney. And by the way, where is my... there you go. Yeah, picked this baby up when I was there. Had to get that. Really nice. You see? But yeah, this came back from Disney. And I think it's safe to say that everybody loves Disney parks, Disney World, Disneyland, whatever it may be. And everyone at one point in their life really loved Mickey Mouse, and some of us never let it go. This guy. And so with this, we were able to get all new, not all new, but we were getting like footage, interviews, and perspective. And the info was just so perfect how it all comes together. And the reason why I didn't say all new footage is because, yes, you do see footage of some of the different animations of Mickey over the years, but you also get these interviews from the folks behind it, which are new, and which, as I said, brings a new, refreshing perspective about this information, about Walt, and everything Mickey stands for. And, in anything of this source, because this will be on Disney+, the production's top tier. It's just really... You already know what it is with Disney and whatnot. And I gotta say that too, when you kind of go back and look at even the original cartoon animation footage that's included with this, it's still all great. It's like it's timeless, you know what I mean? They're going back years ago, and I'm like, wow, I will still watch this. And even though animation has come light years beyond this point, the older animation is still pretty good, and it still holds up pretty well in this day and age, and we got to see that. But like I said, with this documentary, you got to see how Mickey, I almost want to say Disney, how Mickey came to be, and like just a cultural appreciation of it, from all different aspects. And so you're talking to younger kids, you're talking to all different sexes, all different nationalities, all sorts of, again, different likes of folks, all sharing their love for Mickey. And it's truly the life and times of Mickey Mouse. But beyond this too, we also got to see the creation of a new animated short, which is going to be coming to Disney+, and that's Mickey in a Minute. And this is where we get 3 of the most well-known hand artists of Disney, where they had to draw about 1,500 original drawings for 1 minute of screen time. And this is where we get to see the generational changes of Disney all in 1 minute. And they show it at the end of this, and it's super good, like super, super good. So, kind of think of it something like Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse or whatnot, something of that source. And when you have like legends such as Mark Kent and Eric Goldberg involved, like, it's going to be good. That's just what it is, Now, the other thing I didn't realize is that I never knew that Snow White was the next major project alongside of Mickey Mouse, and keyword alongside, because Mickey was never ever not the main priority, but I did not know that alongside of that next came Snow White, which was interesting. And so, like, while all the focus was about Mickey, Snow White was right there alongside of it, and I guess I really never realized that. Now, another thing I will say is, you just gain so much appreciation for the artists, because you get to see them at work, and you get to see not only them doing their craft, but the mindset, their appreciation, their dedication, their sacrifices, all of that. You can see all of that. And beyond that too, I think that if you are an artist, you're going to gain like 10 times as much as the appreciation, because they actually go into detail about the craft, about the different techniques, and explaining the educational aspects as to what does it mean to draw Mickey Mouse. So like for me, it's all going over my head. I'm like, oh, this looks cool. But like for somebody that's actually immersed in this, they're going to be like, oh, okay. Understanding colors, strokes, and all that other stuff, they really get into it. And I think that it was really cool that they was able to like bring that aspect into this without beating you over the head, like learning point, you know what I mean? So it was like a smooth transition of it, and I really like that. Now, another thing that I don't think a lot of people really thought about is like the evolution of Mickey from being like badass Mickey to like being the children's icon. And thus, did you ever wonder why or how, besides the idea that being for kids is more marketable? It's also because the idea that like he was such an icon that he had to stand for all. He couldn't just be like an old raunchy Mickey was something else. Like, and they showed the footage, which I did appreciate. This documentary did not sway away from Mickey's dark past, shall I say. But beyond that, forget the question. Beyond that, this becomes the creation of Donald Duck, which I didn't realize as well too, which because with all the taboos of Mickey, it's like we need to actually come up with a different character here, and thus Donald Duck. So of course they had to talk about Fantasia, which is a huge box office failure here, but it should really be appreciated for its artistry, and thus they talk about that. And that was one of the moments of this documentary where my eyes were just like, yeah, hard to argue here, but I get your drift here. Now, this is the most unique part of the documentary for me personally here. There's a very, very interesting aspect of this documentary about Walt, and we all know he was such a patriot and how he fully supported the government and the military during World War II. And thus he turned over his studio to create learning documentaries and all sorts of different propaganda they could for the soldiers and for America, teaching them about guns and all this other sorts of stuff. Like, he made that his main focus. But what I had always wondered, and I knew enough, but to kind of see this in the documentary was so surreal to me. Walt Disney hand drew 1,200 insignias made for the war. And of course, a lot of those folks, because everyone loved Disney, so they was all asking him for stuff like, hey, I would be nice if I can get this and stuff like that. And he did. 1,200 original. And it's such a noble thing for him to do. And they showed drawings of it, and I remember learning about this a while ago. And to see this in the documentary, I was like, oh wow, that's so cool, so heartfelt. Just a selfless individual who just dedicated everything to everyone else, it seemed like, and I'm happy to say that I actually have one of them. This is a copy, by the way, but this is one of them, and you see a signature right there. And I had read about this, but to actually now hear it, and then the visual depiction of it was like, wow. It's crazy. It's crazy, but such a good guy. And to kind of turn the tone just a little bit here, Hitler, who is a terrible person, there's nothing to be argued about with that. But it's crazy for all of the good that Walt Disney did for war, in terms of with Disney and what Disney stood for. They made it very clear that even the evil Hitler hated Mickey. Which was just like, oh, come on. Like, no one can hate Mickey. Not even an evil tyrant such as Hitler. And of course he did, because he is the pure epitome of evil. And yes, they made sure it was very clear of all the bad things that he did. Also add on the list that he hated Mickey Mouse. Come on now. Now, I will say also too, because we're talking a lot about the artwork of Disney, we got to get a glimpse of the different voice actors who voiced Disney. And when we all know Disney, Mickey, we all know that Walt is pretty much Mickey and Mickey's pretty much Walt. But to hear the other voice actors who stepped into that role. I mean, what a weight to carry here, you know? Truly a spine-chilling moment to hear these folks voice Mickey and to take on that challenge. Of course, we got to go down the alley of when the creation of Disneyland started, the vision of it, and how it came to light. That was pretty cool. And I think that, like I said, I really appreciated how they never avoided the changes of Mickey over the years, and and certainly his images and certain things that he did that would not really people will be fond of or accepted today. But they didn't avoid it, because that's the history of it, and we all come from somewhere. And I think this was a teachable point of saying that, like, even Disney had a dark Disney. I keep saying Disney. Mickey had a dark past, but we learn, we get better, and we adapt. And I thought it was also kind of funny that they say, like, the number one question is everyone knows is asked, how old is Mickey and whatnot. But, like, Mickey's been around for many, 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 many years. And as I said, Walt is Mickey and Mickey is Walt. Now, Mickey was inspiration to everyone. He's the most iconic figure and character ever. And I just thought this documentary really did a good job of bringing that all to light, giving so much information, so many feel-good moments, just a lot. And if you love Mickey Mouse and Disney, it's a no-brainer. You saw the name Mickey, the story of a mouse, and you're like, oh, gotta check that one out. And it's really good, really solid, and a really well put together documentary. So totally check it out. Again, it's coming to Disney Plus soon, so keep your eyes out for it. But until then, jump in the comments. Let me know your excitement, your appreciation, your favorite, and maybe first moment of Disney. I mean, God, seeing those little kids at Disneyland reminded me of my first time in it, and I was like, fingers crossed, like, please use one of my old pictures when I was there, because they did use some old pictures and footage of kids being in Disneyland, and I just remember the same excitement. And here I am, still to this day, still going, still loving it the same way I did as a kid. So, but yeah, folks, let me know your fondest moments of Mickey Mouse, and as always, stay tuned for more reviews very soon.